They may actually put in Talia Tagovailoa, the brother of Tua Tagovailoa, if Mac Jones doesn't perform up to his standards in the first half. College Game Day here is just now wrapped up, and we're bringing you all the sights and sounds later on today. Reporting from the Auburn Arena, my name is Tim Humphrey, Eagle Eye TV. From College Game Day to the actual top 20 matchup, Auburn versus Kentucky, Auburn's first top 25 opponent overall. Kennedy, there are two quarterbacks in this matchup, Mac Jones and Bo Nix. Who do you think is the better quarterback in this matchup? Auburn did welcome in Ole Miss to Jordan-Hare this past weekend, and Eagle Eye was there to bring you the story. Welcome back to Eagle Eye News. I'm Tim Humphrey here to give you an update about everything Auburn athletics. Auburn basketball went to Athens last night for a matchup against the Georgia Bulldogs. 4 states have already had their primaries or caucuses, with Iowa, New Hampshire, Nevada, and South Carolina voters. On Saturday, a question will face off with an SEC foe in the Texas A&M Aggies, with the event to begin at 11 a.m. The Ole Miss Rebels have been somewhat of Tiger killers here in Auburn Arena, winning 5 of their past 6 games here on the road. Auburn, on the other hand, is looking to continue their undefeated streak here at home. It was another sold-out crowd at the Auburn Arena Tuesday night, and they were treated to the return of Isaac Okoro. His presence was felt early and often, with Bruce Pearl citing just how much he was missed.
It gives us a fighting chance against the best teams on our schedule.
Samir Dowdy had 14 points to go along with his all-around performance. Auburn as a team had 12 assists, and with Jalen Williams dishing it out like this, there's no surprise that the Tigers would come out on top. Dowdy would lead all players with a game-high 4 assists. Now, back to Williams. The athletic freak showed off his bounciness numerous times, flying high in the air for a putback dunk and an alley-oop. The clog in the middle of the lane that is Austin Wiley racked up another double-double, making it part of his daily routine right after brushing his teeth. He finished with 15 points and 11 rebounds, his 12th double-double of the season. Now, even though Auburn did not trail once for the entire game, Ole Miss was hanging around after back-to-back triples by Blake Henson and Bryce Williams. And after 2 made free throws by KJ Buffon, the lead was cut to 4 with just under 4 minutes to go. However, Wiley could not be stopped in the paint as Dowdy sets him up beautifully for the score to put the game out of reach for good. And as Okoro's long-awaited return, the projected top 5 draft pick in this year's upcoming NBA draft dropped 10 points in 27 minutes. The real story, however, was big man Austin Wiley, who had yet another double-double making this routine, dropping 15 points and getting 11 rebounds. Auburn's next opponent will be the Kentucky Wildcats on the road. Tip-off is slated for 2:45 this Saturday on CBS. Reporting from the Auburn Arena, my name is Tim Humphrey, Eagle Eye TV. Isaac Okoro is making NBA scouts salivate tonight over his ball handling, shooting, and willingness to find the open man. Auburn overall shot 44 free throws and made 33 of them, out-rebounded Kentucky 42-28 and had 17 offensive rebounds. Auburn is now the 5th-ranked team in the country that are highest ranking since 1998. Being this highly ranked means that you will get the best out of every opponent every night. So far for the Tigers, senior Allison Maillard claimed the title for the women's 1-meter diving event with a score of 364.15, setting a new school record. Auburn defensive coordinator Kevin Steele inked a new 3-year deal to stay with Auburn. The deal will pay Steele $2.5 million annually, making him the highest paid defensive coordinator in the country. Making an athletic dive to save the first and making herself big on the second. Thompson was back at it again, this time with a 1-dribble spin move into the lane for the and 1, and Hughes was just as excited. It was a back-and-forth affair in the first half between the Commodores and the Tigers. A first half which featured 8 lead changes, 4 ties, a monster dunk by Vanderbilt guard Saban Lee, and a guy who goes by the name of Isaac Okoro, who may be listed as a freshman, but certainly doesn't play like one, tallying 17 points in the first half.
I told her, Matt Norlander from ESPN, I said, we don't have 5 seniors. We have 6. He plays like a senior. Knows how to defend, knows how to communicate, not afraid of the moment, makes big plays. Obviously, he's so much fun to play call for because he can do things inside and out. And every time he puts the ball on the floor and takes it to the basket, he scores or gets fouled.
There's a saying in broadcasting when you want the audience to just listen to the natural sounds. Let it breathe. After the crowd calmed down just a little, it was Javon McCormick's turn, using his fancy crossover and pulling up at the free throw line, making strange music. But Vanderbilt will go on a 19-6 run to cut Auburn's lead to 3. Bounce pass to Alan Flanagan, who finishes strong in the paint. Samir Dowdy had a brutal night from 3, going 0 for 7, but gets into the paint and finishes nicely with the and 1 to put the Tigers up by 6 with their largest lead of the game. Fervent would knock back down, however, after Jalen Pugh knocks down a three to give the Paladins a 31-30 lead. And oh boy, you couldn't stop this man as Pugh was heating up with back-to-back threes and the bench was pumped. Furman was up at the half 39-31, and they came out firing in the second half, with Jordan Lyons making a three with a 4-point play opportunity. Alex Hunter got in on the party with a nice driving layup over the bigger defender to give Furman its biggest lead of the game at 14. As Okoro said, "I've had enough of this," and drives into the lane for the and one. The crowd was not losing their faith. The paint was Auburn's best friend Thursday night, getting and ones at will with their big bodies. Noah Gurley finished the contest with a game-high 21 points and was the best player on the court. Crunch time separates the men from the boys, and McCormick says, "I am a man," as he ties the game at 64 with 1 minute left in the second half. McCormick had one more chance to win the game at the buzzer, and it's no good, and we're heading to overtime. Austin White was feasting on the boards, finishing with 13 points and 12 rebounds, his third double-double of the season. Clay Mounts wasn't going to let Furman crumble late as he hit a three to cut the deficit. It was technically a neutral site game, but it was code orange and blue for the fans in Birmingham tonight. The Auburn faithful were not liking what they were seeing out of the Tigers, falling behind 9-0 after an and one by Jimmy Bell Jr. D'Angelo Purifoy finally got the Tigers on the scoreboard with 15 minutes remaining in the first half. Auburn would go on their own 9-0 run to tie the game thanks to Javon McCormick, who was playing stirring music all night as he finished with a career-high 20 points and dished out 6 assists. He was a man on fire tonight, and here's what Bruce Pearl had to say about his performance.
And Javon McCormick was the best player on the floor. He was the best player on the floor.
Those words were echoed by St. Louis head coach Travis Ford, and it's easy to see why. McCormick was weaving through the defenders to find a wide-open Samir Daddy, who says, "Hey, how are you?" to the St. Louis bench. It's McCormick again with the assist, this time to big man Austin Wiley, who finished with 8 points, 8 rebounds, and 2 blocks. Into the second half we go. Isaac Okoro had his 3-ball working tonight, going 2 of 3 from beyond the arc. And it seems like we can't go 2 highlights apart without showing McCormick, because that's how good he was. It was a career night from the New Orleans native as he finishes in the lane with a nice floater. Jamal Johnson won to get it on the fun, adding another triple for the Tigers to extend their lead to 9 with 11 minutes to go in the game. Jordan Goodwin was not going to let St. Louis crumble, however, getting an and one to cut the deficit to 4. Nice hustle play here by McCormick, who zips a pass to a wide-open Okoro, who knocks down his second triple of the game. Oh, and what's that? It's a bird. It's a plane. No, it's Davon Cambridge with a putback slam.